Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode here at Tribal Trades, the daily show coming at you from Bermuda, Jamaica. Come on, pretty mama. And so as you can see, I am away and I'm in a hotel room there. There is the view. It's terrible. I know I'll have to put some kind of screen background there. I do apologize for that. But I do want to welcome you to the show wherever you are tuning in from around the world. Thanks for watching. Today we're going to talk about Bitcoin. We're going to look at the charts, and we're also going to answer the question on why I pretty much never plan on selling any of my Bitcoin, but how I'm still going to take profits. I know you're wondering how that's going to work. I'm going to share that strategy with you. We're going to look at the yellow brick road, some charts, a bunch of other news and stuff. Before we do all of that, smash the like button. This does help get this content out to more people and, of course, does help support the channel, as does all the wonderful comments that you leave in the comment section. You take the time to write them. I take the time to read them. And for those of you who ask questions in the comment section, I do get back to those as soon as I am able to. However, if you'd like more immediate and personal engagement with, you can find me in the Stocks with Josh Discord with some of the most amazing people on the planet in the crypto channel. There's a meme coin channel, a stocks channel, a bunch of other traders in there, as well as I have my own Crowned Traders channel in there where I share education, insights, resources, some of my trade setups, and of course, entertainment, because I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This is for education and entertainment purposes only. Are you not entertained? Well, at least be entertained by the view. And the Wi-Fi is struggling here a little bit in the hotel, so please be patient if it gets a little glitchy. This is my third attempt at doing this video, so hopefully we can get this one done and uploaded. Okay, so first of all, let's look at some of the news there, and this is going to share one of the strategies on how to not sell your Bitcoin but still profit from it. So Coinbase now, and I believe, and I did predict this, I have been saying now for many weeks and months that we were going to see the ability, mainstream, legitimate financial organizations that were going to allow Bitcoin to be banked and custodied, and you could borrow against it. And here it is. Bitcoin backed loans are here. Borrow USDC against Bitcoin without selling it, rolling it out to US users, not New York. Sorry, New York. You might need to move or use a VPN. More collateral assets and regions to come. So it means that they are planning not just for this for Bitcoin, but also for other digital assets. Interesting which ones they choose next. I'm guessing Ethereum, okay, is going to be another one they're going to offer that for as well. We will see. So with Bitcoin now, you can take your Bitcoin and park it there, and then you can take that USDC and use that for probably for buying a house, probably for buying stocks. You could probably cash it out, I would think. And of course, for buying other crypto assets. But just look at the most obvious one they'll allow it for, which is the USDC, to buy other crypto assets. So you can actually park your Bitcoin, then borrow against it with USDC, and then use that money to buy, for example, more Bitcoin, which goes up in price, or other digital assets like Solana, like Sui, or other of your favorite altcoins, and see those go up in value, cash in. At some point, obviously, you'll need to repay that loan, but you will have made money on that loan. I did share many months ago about the person that took out a whole bunch of credit card loans when Bitcoin was down low, and they ended up obviously doing quite well off it because they started at the beginning of the bull market, and not only can they pay back their credit cards, but a whole lot more. So this strategy here, I think, is one way that you can make money on your Bitcoin and take profits without ever having to sell your Bitcoin. Now, imagine if Bitcoin goes to 150, 170, 200 from here, and then, of course, you are able to use that USDC to buy more Bitcoin, okay? It feels like that's really all MicroStrategy are doing, is they're just creating some debt and they're buying more Bitcoin and rinse and repeat. So if it works for them, it should work for all of us, of course. And I would look into it. Is there a point where if Bitcoin goes below a certain price, would you get liquidated or lose your assets, for example? Or what would happen if you could not repay your loan? How long would you take to repay that loan? And what kind of interest there on your loan? So these are things to look into, but that is definitely something you would think, from 15,000 up to 108,000, any interest that you'd have to pay on such a loan would be negated by the rocket ship gains that you would have gotten from Bitcoin there. And of course, those of you might say, well, we're nearing the end of the cycle, maybe it'll be finished in a couple of months or whatever. And of course, how much money can be made. And so maybe it's better to go into some altcoins, because generally I think the main thing that the mistake that a lot of people would admit to, and I would be the same, is to a certain extent of not holding enough Bitcoin, because Bitcoin has pretty much it hasn't. It has, it not just pretty much, it has outperformed most altcoins this bull run. Very few altcoins. When you look at percentage gains, probably only a few percent of the entire altcoin market have actually outperformed Bitcoin. And so people go into altcoins because there's promises of greater returns. And in reality, Bitcoin was the one that gave the greatest returns. In fact, you could probably have been in Bitcoin, a few meme coins, and then altcoins such as Sui and Tau and Banana Gun also has done epic gains, got up to $80 from virtually nothing, etc. And then maybe a few others. So Solana, of course. So really, when we look at all of this and highlight it in, now really is meant to be the time for altcoins to shine over the next couple of months. And we will talk about some more altcoins in the next altcoin video. So that is one of the ways that can be done. The second way is I'm actually going to have to do a whole video on it. I don't have time to go into the details and show how. But essentially, it's using your Bitcoin as leverage to create more Bitcoin. Let me give you an example. Let's just say you had 3 Bitcoin. And let's just say that you didn't want to sell any, and it was difficult to know, timing the top, etc. You could actually take that Bitcoin. You could open up one Bitcoin using one of those Bitcoin, open up a leverage position at 3x. Now, a lot of you use leverage already. And for those of you that don't, I don't recommend it unless you learn. And on some of these platforms, there are demo accounts with paper money that you can practice on. And I would suggest doing that. But the other way to do it is in leverage trading, most people understand how to use USDT and open a position, for example, with Bitcoin. But if Bitcoin goes up, guess what happens? You actually don't make more Bitcoin, you make USDT. And when you close the position, you get paid out in USDT. Many people don't know that you can actually open up a leverage position using your Bitcoin. You can actually do this also, and I do this with Solana as well, and Sui. And there's a few others like XRP and Litecoin and ADA and Avalanche. There's not many actually, and from exchange to exchange, it can be very, very limited. In fact, I've only found one exchange that allows Sui as the native token. So you take the native token that you're already holding, and then you can open a leverage position. So in this example with Bitcoin, you can actually take your Bitcoin, open up a Bitcoin long, and then when it goes up in price, you actually get paid out in Bitcoin. Now, imagine if you'd done that when Bitcoin was 15,000, even 30,000 or 40,000, for example. But let's just say you did it when Bitcoin was 15,000. Let's give the ideal example. And now Bitcoin went up to 100,000. So your 3 Bitcoin now are now worth 100,000 each, 300,000. Now, to take profits, you have to sell those Bitcoin. But what if you'd done the leverage situation and now you took one of those Bitcoins and you turn them into 3 Bitcoins, okay, at 3x leverage? That's how you turn them into 3 Bitcoins. And then as it goes up to 100,000, you don't have 3 Bitcoin anymore. You actually have 5, okay? And you actually have an additional 2 Bitcoin that was created through the leverage trade position. So now you can actually sell those additional Bitcoins without ever selling the 3 Bitcoins that you had to begin with. Rinse, repeat. Now, when the bear market comes, you can do the same thing and short that Bitcoin using your Bitcoin and create more Bitcoin on the way down. And then, of course, you could create another 1 or 2 Bitcoins. So you could actually come to the end of a 4-year cycle and have created double the amount of Bitcoin that you had, sold that as profit without ever selling your original Bitcoin. Okay, so that is the other way that you can actually never sell your original Bitcoin that you had, but still take profits. And I'm going to do a whole step-by-step video coming up in the next week or so on exactly how to do that. Because I know some of you might say you don't own Bitcoin. Okay, that's no problem whatsoever. If you own Solana, you can do it. In fact, I'm doing it with Solana right now. I already created more Solana than what I had. You can do it with Sui, you can do it with XRP, and you can do it with Ethereum, and there's a few others you can do it with as well, depending on which exchange you use. And of course, the next question is going to be, what exchanges can you do this on? That's a great question, and I'm going to cover all of that in an upcoming video. So stay tuned for that, and I'll show you exactly how to do that. Okay, let's quickly look at the Bitcoin charts here that we have, and this is going to load. It is. And of course, what we saw was we had a situation where the CPI data came out and it was good, and we've seen a pump. And I did say Bitcoin, my pick was to come between 85 and 89K, and it hit 89K. So it has hit the price target that I did predict back when Bitcoin was 108K or so. And even as it was coming down, I did, people were saying 90K or 91K is the bottom. I said, no, I still felt 85 to 89K. And I did say recently that I still felt it could go lower, and that was my most likely probability, because I was actually thinking we would get CPI data that came in a little hot, and it didn't come in hot. It came in on the button of what was expected, and it didn't come in super cold or anything like that, which would have really sent the markets up. And so, of course, I've been traveling, and so I wasn't able to put out that video yesterday. Of course, I did a Bitcoin top signals video that had been pre-recorded. And so now I'm at my destination and in the hotel here. And so I did just want to really put that across there, that the bottom now could quite possibly be in. And obviously, I think there's a likelihood that it is more so likely that 89K. Now, of course, we've seen Bitcoin, usually the Bitcoin bottom for January is in by the 12th. And so the 13th, I think it was, when we went down to 89K, would be in line with what we've seen. Of course, it has taken time to recover some of these drops. And this is a bit of a surprising drop, that we didn't see a deeper drop down into these areas of, around about, the 86, and then maybe down to these lower areas here. It does concern me that in the bear market, when we come down to these areas, there's not a whole lot there. You can see the VPVR is very, very slim in that area, and there's not a whole lot there. By the way, I do think the bear market bottom will be somewhere between 67 and 73,000 there, somewhere around this level, and we see a lot of support in here for that. So I do think when that comes, and I think the 200 weekly moving average, which is usually where my bear market bottom signal, will slowly come up as we get to the end of this bull run, which I did predict will happen around August, September of this year. Of course, other analysts have it October and November, and if it ends there, I'll be very happy as well for that. Okay, let's look at the liquidation levels and see if we can see anything about the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road. We're off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz. And what we see here is, show me the money. That's what Bitcoin says. Show me the money. Show me the money, because it follows the money, and there is money down at 96,900. Now, at some point, liquidity is going to get left behind. I do want to stress that. and we can't always. But as we've seen for many months, the last couple of months, as I've been sharing this metric here, that when Bitcoin is ranging between, like it has between 90,000 and 100,000 since mid-November, this has been very accurate. But of course, we do see a lot to the upside there at 101 as well. There's a little bit sitting down there at 96. And so I think once we break out and create a new range, so we get above 100 and start trading between 100 and 108, for example, then we could be in a new range. And then we might, and we may not stay in that range for very long. We could shoot up to 113 to 120, 117, 120,000 and create a new range, for example. At the moment, we are sitting around that 100K, round about the top of the range, retesting as support. Maybe we break back down in the range. We do see there 96,000. And again, there's up there at 101,000. So this can be helpful to see where it could possibly go. On the bigger time frames, we do see it come down that 95 and liquidity down there and there as well to all the way down to 94, 93. And if we keep zooming out here, we'll probably see some other interesting things. Yeah, all the way down there. Wow, at 91,000, we got 80 million. And I had been saying for a while that I thought that that liquidity down at 89 was going to get hit because there was a lot sitting down there. And I think we've got to go to the 3-month chart to see that. But there is a lot sitting down here at 86. There's hundreds of millions sitting down there, but you saw it came and it tagged all of that liquidity at 89 and got a lot of it. So I was actually quite surprised. It would have just been a couple more thousand drop that didn't get tagged. So I do have that as on my radar as a possibility for one final flush out down there. But now we're at 100K. Boy, that would be a final flush out. We're kind of running out of days in January for that to happen. But we have seen Bitcoin make 8 and 10,000 moves in a single day, and that's the volatility of the asset. So I will say this, that I said this in the Discord, I just ignore the noise. Ignore the noise, and I've been buying, I bought the 89K fear. And I didn't buy any more Bitcoin at 89K because I picked up some at 90 and 91. I had my other orders down. So it's fine because I can create more Bitcoin through the strategy that I shared. And now Coinbase has that option as well. But as you can see, just to buy the bottom of the range, actually we'll go to the daily time frame here. That will really help see that. Just to buy the bottom of the range, buy the bottom of the range, take profit at the top. And if you ever close out the position, you just take profit. You could buy the middle of the range too, by the way, and then take profit in the deviation, which is what I did. And then you come back down and you buy the bottom of the range again at 90,000. You take profit at the top of the range. You buy the bottom of the range there, and then you take profit again there, and then you buy the bottom of the range again there, and you take profit again. And currently we're above that Fibonacci. And so if we can hold that as support, that would be great. And then that would be nice to see that come up to retest that 104, 105 region. Ultimately, we want to get up to that 108K. And I told you these wicks will likely get filled, and they most likely will. And this is why I wasn't worried. People were asking me what I was doing, and I said, I'm not selling anything. I'm just holding what I had because I've already taken profits at these tops here, and then I bought these dips. And so if we come back down again, I'll just buy these dips. Now, I might buy the middle of the range. If we come back and retest the middle of the range, which is 95,000, there we go. Then if that holds the support, I could possibly buy the middle of the range. But otherwise, and I could also stop out if we lost it, retested, rejected, and came further down. And the bottom of the range, the 100 simple moving average is now sitting at 87,000. So that's moving up fairly quickly every single day. So, and the 200 EMA is sitting down at around 79, and the 200 simple, these are the areas of interest that I have, is sitting at 74. If we're further drops, I'd be buying there. Right there at the 100 simple, the 200 EMA, and the 200 simple, I'd be buying altcoins at those levels as well. All right, so we're going to wrap it up for today. Hope you enjoyed the show. And of course, until the next episode, happy trading.